hands will be a waste of your time, because what your child becomes in them first few weeks and months will not be the same as what they were in school. They spent their school life being told what to learn and how to learn it. You've got to let them get that out their system, and what you get at the end of that won't be the same child when it comes educationally. And yeah, couple of things that we hear over and over again: I wish I'd done it sooner.
Yeah,
I wasted my time making plans.
I do hear that a lot. They're like, oh, I need to make sure everything's in place before we deregister and everything. So that's reassuring that I can now share that with people that inquire. And I'm like, if your child's unhappy, deregister. You can sort out what happens next.
Yeah.
When they've just had that moment that they need that relaxed time, and then boom.
Yeah. And in that relaxed time, they are learning. They're learning about themselves, that you can still get them involved in life and doing things, and it is still an education.
Life skills as well.
It's just different to what any of you have been used to.
Yeah.
So what a good explanation is, when your child comes out of school on the 6-week summer holidays, they're bored quite quickly. They need you to entertain them, because that's all they're used to. They're often insular, they might shut themselves in their bedroom. They might be boisterous and loud and running around.
Yeah.
But in that week 6, all of a sudden, for a lot of people, things seem nice, and your kids engaging and doing things and choosing things. And actually, if they didn't go back to school in the September, by that Christmas, you would have a child wanting to learn and picking things to learn and finding things to learn.
Yeah.
If you look at how they are through the summer holidays, and that change from I'm bored to Mum, I'm going to go do this.
Yeah. Oh, it's yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the summer holidays, but for me personally, I need sort of a bit of structure.
And that is fine.
And that's me.
So one of the things that we found when I started home educating, once we'd settled in a little bit, is that we did need some kind of structure. Just needed to find a new way of doing it.
Yeah.
That wasn't dictated by the school system, that clearly hadn't worked for any of us.
Yeah.
And our structure became quite flexible in a way, but with a structure at the same time.
Yeah. So you know what you're going to be doing, and sometimes there's a time limit, sometimes not. I've had one, actually, I think it was today or yesterday, one parent was like, I want to get things sorted so that they have the same structure as school, and they spend the same amount of time as they would in school. And I'm like, you won't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You can be totally flexible when you watch those lessons and that.
And that's another thing. I mean, if I don't know how many kids you have at a time, whether it's one-to-one or whether you do groups, but a child is going to learn far more in that smaller, more personalised, than they will in a class with 30 children.
Exactly.
So somewhere on our social medias, we have this calculation thing. I can't quite remember how it goes, but we added up all the hours a child is in school, then took out lunch breaks, assemblies.
Oh God, yeah, assemblies.
Time taken to settle the child in class, the time if the child's struggling or finishes early and has to sit and do nothing. And it worked out an average of something like 2 hours a day throughout a full year is learning time. But then that learning time is one adult to 30 children. So a home ed kid, probably, if they did formal learning, could very easily cover a school year in a couple of months.
Yeah. Well, GCSE courses, it's like you can get it all covered in 1 year, even just doing 2 lessons a week, something like that. It's because it's so consolidated and you don't get disruptions or
Yeah.
anything like that. The
Yeah.
actual what you have to know is quite straightforward, and well, not straightforward, but you can do it quite quickly.
And a lot of the concepts can be learned as the child is growing up, if you've got that privilege of home educating from a younger age, through just life. Even if you want to follow the curriculum, it's amazing how much of it is learned just in day-to-day activities.
Yeah.
And that's a learning curve for the parent. But yeah, what you think you're going to be doing is not what you will be doing.
Yeah. Don't plan. I'm actually even with my teaching, if I plan it down to like the minute and everything, it all goes wrong. If I just go in going, right, I need to do this, I'll get this little selection of things, and you just see how the class goes.
Yeah.
It's so much better. So much better. Sometimes being really strict with it doesn't always work.
So one day in our home ed really stands out for me. We'd got over the hurdle of me thinking I had to do school at home, and we were a couple of years in, so my kids were various ages, and we'd planned on learning, I think it was the Vikings. Brilliant. And we'd all talked about it. We'd gathered some resources. We had a whole library of books. This is some years ago, before the internet was really a big thing. And we'd got everything set out. I'd got age appropriate different tasks for each kid. And we're all sat there and none of us could feel it. We just started flicking things at each other and messing about. I'm ADHD, what can I say? I'm as bad as a little kid. And we just did not feel the Vikings in that moment.
Yeah.
And we just messed about. And it ended up where we got onto a random topic. We started talking about the mods and rockers. So we YouTubed it and brought up a video because I could tell them a bit from my age. Obviously, I weren't around then, but I've got, and then I told them a bit about my childhood when I was a bit of a rocker. And then it sort of transpired into another conversation. And next thing I know, I wasn't too big for it, but they were all stood on dining table, dropping paper parachutes. That was our day.
Yeah.
We'd planned on learning the Vikings. We never did cover the Vikings. And they've all aged out now, working on uni and stuff.
Yeah.
But there is no sit still, be quiet. No, ask that question. We are... When we go to museums as a home ed family, when we did, and you saw school children being told, no, it's not a time to be asking questions. Stand, be quiet. No, we're not looking at that. We're looking at this. It used to break our hearts. So if you're sat doing something with your kid and they want to know something else, go with it.
Yeah.
Let that moment.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I do it even with my tutoring. It's like, yes, I'm helping them learn. As one student, it's so lovely because she's like, well, why is that? Why is that? Oh, what about that? And we do often go off on a tangent. It's all relevant to what she has to learn. But, I show videos and pictures and stuff, and that to her is how she learns, not from a worksheet or doing that. These conversations are memorable as well. And I don't go, oh no, we can't talk about that. We must do this. That's not what my tutoring's about. It's like, because I love it when they ask questions. It's love good. It. I'm like, brilliant. Right. You just carry on with that. Let me just let me find one.
It's really important because those kids first out of school aren't necessarily going to ask those questions. They might be scared to.
Yeah, they're programmed not to.
They don't know how to query things or question what you're saying. They don't know how to research things. But if you start home educating younger, you've got that time for that to happen. But if you deregistered an older child that wants to do GCSEs or go to college and do functional skills or whatever, yes, they need to have that target of hitting those targets of the knowledge. But there are other ways of hitting those targets and getting information in. And it's the same throughout. You never need that formal learning. A child could learn everything just through conversation.
Yeah.
They might never write.
I can talk for ages.
I mean,
talking about talking for ages. We've been nearly chatting for an hour, but what we'll do, we'll sort of pause here.
Yep.
Okay. But Cheryl, will you come back and maybe talk about something else? Have you got something else that you'd like to?
Loads.
No. Right. This is part one, a series of series one. There are 8 series to happen. There'll be like loads and loads of little videos with you and interviews, which will be amazing because things crop up, and I'm like, yeah, it's just really good to be in the knowledge, in the know-how of, is this the right option for me to home ed? And just one thing that surprised me is just it's so easy.
It really can be.
It is so easy. It's just amazing. But yeah, but every family is different. Some families, obviously, I'm more into hear more from teenage age children, so not the younger ones. So a lot of parents are going, oh, I've got to leave them to learn. I'm full time, so there are difficulties, but at that age, it's just some people find it a bit complicated, but we'll
do a proper chat about teenagers and GCSEs.
Yeah, I think so. Is there anything else that you think, oh yeah, let's talk about that? What else can we?
I just want to reiterate that home education doesn't have to be forever, and make sure that you don't do it alone. Reach out to people, get in touch with home educators. All you've got to do is type in educational freedom and you will see us all over the place.
Yeah.
Whatever your choice of social media, you'll find us. And find home educators. Don't feel that you've got to do any of it alone.